Hey everybody, welcome back to 1 Minute Walking Tours. I switched hats, it's getting a little too warm for the other one. We're here in Reynolds Woods, and this is, to my mind, the most interesting what if of the Battle of Gettysburg. The what if that gets most of the publicity is what if Stonewall Jackson had been here, but Stonewall Jackson was shot by his own troops at the Battle of Chancellorsville a few months before. And during the process of amputating the limb, he dies of pneumonia, which his troops said he had and was suffering with prior to that. So the Army of Northern Virginia has been without him for a long time. Now, I don't really think that would have mattered because Jackson was not a reliable general. You didn't know what he was going to do. Now, fortunately for the Army of the Potomac, one of the most reliable men they had was a man named John Reynolds. Markers right here. Now, he's not buried here. He's buried in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is actually about an hour in this direction. So he's fighting very close to home, literally and figuratively. Now, Reynolds is in command of the 1st Corps of the Army of the Potomac, and they are considered the best. Now, what happens is the 1st Corps comes through this area right here, and they're moving this way to engage with the Army of Northern Virginia, which is up near that white barn. It's McPherson's barn, and this is actually McPherson's Ridge, if you've ever heard that term before. So 1st Corps, including the famed Iron Brigade, they're moving through these woods, really ready to stop, to blunt the enemy attack. Now, the morning started off with John Buford and his troopers blocking and screening and fighting, as Buford put it, a big game of hide and seek with the enemy. And it's Reynolds who gets the message from Buford that they have met the Army of the Northern Virginia and they're around Gettysburg. Now, Buford had actually been sent this way by the other commander, former commander before George Mead, Hooker, to look at Gettysburg as an area for potentially fighting the Army of Northern Virginia, which they knew was on the move. So Meade puts Reynolds in charge of a very strong sort of reconnaissance in force, that is, with artillery, cavalry, and overstrength brigades. He's not in command of the Army as Potomac's 1st Corps when he is here. That will pass to Abner Doubleday. But it's Reynolds who will send for reinforcements. He'll tell Meade the enemy's here in strength, and I think we should stay. And as he's rallying his troops, he's organizing everything going on. Bullet strikes Reynolds back of the head, kills him instantly. Now, to my mind, what makes that the most interesting what if is Reynolds was under orders from Meade to find the enemy, engage them if you can, but keep falling back. Bring them with you to an area in Maryland called Pipe Creek, where Meade wanted to bring on a bigger defensive battle, the kind of defensive battle that the Army of Northern Virginia had fought at Fredericksburg. But no one but Reynolds knew that order. So when command passes to Doubleday, passes to Howard, passes to Hancock, no one gets that message. So Meade, who's one of the greatest generals of the war, immediately sends up word that this isn't, this is the time to fight. He brings the men up, they rush up, and they occupy the high ground, East Cemetery Hill and so forth, which is actually, if you can make out that cupola, that's the actual seminary, the Pennsylvania College it was called at the time. Now, there's a ridge up there, Seminary Ridge, and beyond that is Culp's Hill and all of where the 2nd and 3rd day's fighting takes place. So to my mind, good old Pennsylvanian John Reynolds really would want to know what happened if he had followed his orders from Meade, engaged the enemy, and started bringing him back in this direction to fight a defensive battle in Maryland. So that's just one of the what-ifs. I don't do a lot of what-ifs about Gettysburg because I don't think anything would have changed. I think the Army of the Potomac would have won no matter what. They have everything going for them. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you here soon on 1 Minute Walking Tour.